Good morning or good day, everybody. Nice to have you all here. We're so excited to do another fantastic overview of a really great organization. My name is Lisa Kessler from Kessler Insurance, and I'm here on behalf of Cheers for Charity New Hampshire with my amazing friend, Joanne Burchuck. Hi, Joanne.
Hey, Lisa. Thank you. I'm Joanne Burchuck. I'm with Lighthouse Physical Therapy, and I have the pleasure this morning of introducing Diane with BigFish Learning Community. And we're so excited to hear about your organization and how you help our youth get on track with whatever meets their soul and their love. So I'm really excited to hear all about it.
Thank you. Great.
So Diane, can you give us a little bit of an overview about Big Fish?
Sure.
What's the elevator, pitch that you do to the community so they know how unique and awesome Big Fish is?
So BigFish Learning Community, we are a learning center for young people ages 12 to 19. And we have a really diverse population of students. They come to us for very different reasons. They come because they don't want to run with the herd in conventional school. And I say conventional school, not traditional school, because traditional school kind of means like the one room schoolhouse where you integrated everything. But conventional school has really become quite a machine in the 20th and the 21st century. So my background is that I was a public school teacher for 30 years. And in the last 10 years or so, and as the computers just, became more and more a part of what we do, from my view as a creative person, I was an English teacher and theater director, is that we've become more about testing and assessment and not enough about reflection and creativity. And a lot of our kids who are either introverts or creative people are just not doing well. We, due to both the technology and the more structured school, the industry of school, like every other system, has just become more controlling, really. So we help students with their families craft an education that is meaningful for them. So we have students who learn a lot of things through their passions, like music. One of our first students is now attending Berklee College of Music. She was with us for 2 years. Maddie, who was in the TEDx talk with us, is studying at Maryland Institute for the Creative Arts virtually right now because of COVID, but also pursuing her work as an artist. And then we have other kids who come just because they have a different pace or they have some learning challenges or learning. We have a lot of neurodiverse kids too, who just, they want a different way forward. So we mentor and support them and work with their families. So it's really fun, very, very fun job.
Yeah, and it sounds very diverse, a lot of the creative arts, but then also, working with kids that are struggling, it sounds like.
Sure. Well, yes. And we have also really students who want to become do farm management. We go out to 2 local farms during the week, Old Orchard Farm in Madbury and Bridgewater Farm in South Berwick. And I work with this one young man from Epping who he told me his story yesterday. This is his second year with us, and I really just got his story yesterday about how he was just hated school in kindergarten. A lot of these kids will tell you that. And then, finally by 8th grade, he really got to know the principal because he was always there, and he's a maker. And so he went through the whole story about how he's always in trouble. And then he left in high school to start studying with us, and he's in a plumbing program. He's on track. He's apprenticing. He has a budget plan. He's on track to own his own business in 5 years. He's 17. And so he's working on a homeschool diploma because he's not a kid who can really do that typical, conventional, traditional way. So it's really fun to watch them. He's teaching about Roth IRAs the other day. I'm like, you just never know. And we have another one who is like completed half of the UNH hacking challenges. So we have some teachers who work with us who are very computer, oriented and math oriented. We have all sorts of volunteers and teachers. So it's really rooted in mentorship. That is what matters most for us. We help people go there.
Oh my gosh, I love that. That's fantastic. So tell me, somebody came to your school and, worked through, I mean, they still end up with a high school diploma at the end of the curriculum, right?
Maybe not, maybe not.
Okay.
So it's sort of a little secret out there. You can go on and do just about anything without a whole high school diploma, but it depends on what you want and need. So we have some who have just said, no, I don't want anything to do with a high set. I don't want a diploma. And they've gone on just to be human first. And some of them are now working full time and feeling really good about themselves. Others do the homeschool diploma. Both Maddie and Kaya, who went on to Berkeley, and Micah did their homeschool diploma, but they also, to work through that, took numerous, I'd say 6 or 7 community college classes as teenagers, like dual enrollment. And then some of our kids, we have a student from Portsmouth who went on and finished his high school diploma through VLAX. VLAX makes a great partnership with us. So it's community and mentorship. And then other kids will do, we're working on partnerships with schools because we can be a community resource for school districts. It's just that we are not a school. So they're used to contracting with accredited schools. So for us, we can be a community resource, like in an IEP meeting for certain students who might be introverts or who might be neurodiverse. They just need a different way forward. So it's really interesting because every student who comes to 20 at the moment. Last year we finished with 32, so our enrollment's a little low due to COVID, but we're starting to build back a little bit. And we do have a virtual and on, given the numbers at this time and end of October, we are thinking about going virtual for a part of the winter. We're going to see how that plays out. Right now we're talking with our community, but yeah, so you probably have lots of questions. The biggest one is that people think we're a school and we're really a resource center. And we are, most of our students do register as homeschoolers, but we're trying to work with districts. Like, people know that not everyone can show up in the brick and mortar. Not everyone can do that. My internet is unstable, sorry. You good? Do you edit these?
Just a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Great.
No, we're doing great. So there's so much about what you do that's so unique, and there's so much information. And I've had the privilege of meeting with you several times, and I still have so many questions, right? Who, maybe just tell us, if someone, what's the time that someone should look at BigFish? What's the like, oh, maybe that's a fit, maybe they can help this student, this child,
if your kid is miserable. I mean, really, the reason I left my beautiful job with, benefits and lots of, I felt like I was an expert in what I did, and I left to feel like a rookie. But, this journey is that there's no reason for so many young people to be miserable. There really isn't. Learning is our birthright. And, we all have gifts and talent. We all have talents. And it's not to say, the follow your passion gets a little cliche, but the idea is that nobody wants to be forced to do things. If you want to empty the dishwasher in the morning, you empty the dishwasher. When your spouse or somebody tells you to empty the dishwasher, you have a very different attitude about it. So school is really the same way. Forced learning. I mean, we use the phrase, let's take a look at how coercive schools are. And that's kind of like heavy language. But I really think we are at a point where we're looking at all of our systems. We're looking at our healthcare systems. We're looking at how we grow our food. We have to look at how we grow our young people, and forcing them to be indoors all day and to do things that they don't want to do. It's hurting them. And so this is really my call to action. I am, it's sort of like, really, Diane, this is not, it's like, I know it feels sometimes like, okay, I do have this passion because I love these young people and I know I can't save the world, but I think this one we can do. I think it's not rocket science to show up to help them really love life. And, when you look at, have you seen The Social Dilemma yet? That's the new documentary out there. And you talk about the massive increase of self-harm and suicide among our young people, especially our girls. It's astronomical. And schools are trying. This is the other piece about school. I love schools. I spent my life in school. And so they're trying so hard to do everything, but they can't do everything. They need us on the outside. We need to partner up with them. And they need me not to be, I told Dr. Bill is superintendent Dover. He's wonderful. We have a wonderful working friendship. you know, you need me not to be in your box. We need our out of the box thinkers to help heal these kids. And it's so fun because you just free them. And we've only been 6 or 7 weeks open now. And some of our new students, you know, the parents will say, you know, my kid is singing again around the house. You know, my kid is just happy. And we can do so much when we don't have to be ecstatic all the time. I mean, life is hard and life is great, but at their core, they need to feel good about the world. And so showing up at school every day and being told what to do, it's not for everyone. And you know, it is, I don't want schools to go away. It's for millions of children. But we need to have these off ramps, you know, and so BigFish is an off ramp. And we're definitely struggling to stay open like every other nonprofit in the world. And we have some generous donors. The New Hampshire Children's Scholarship Fund scholarships a few of our students. We try to make it work for families. So if people are interested in taking their kids out, we meet with you. You can apply for a scholarship. We need donors, of course. We also need a couple of board members. So I'll put that out there to your wonderful network. But it's just wonderful to see kids thrive. And they also, we're rooted in kindness. We have a covenant, we have weekly meetings, and it's important for kids to be inclusive and kind to each other. And, you know, it's flex and pivot right now. So I'm going to get back to the center. I'll be back to the center in a half an hour. And I know I'm going to run into about 10 or 15 kids in costumes. It's going to be a little crazy today.
Yeah.
But
So,
yeah.
so Diane, as a parent that knows nothing about your organization, the part that was really profound for me when I've talked to kids in your program is, one, there's accountability that they're part of creating, and two, that there's true learning that goes on. It's not just about, so there's that, it's the hand in hand, and the learning, it not only, you know, does that help them prepare themselves for their future, but they also get that satisfaction and that strengthening that comes with expanding your mind and overcoming hard things and learning new information that helps you grow, and that growth makes them stronger too, right? So there's this multiple layers of benefits that comes from being collaborative with your program. And I think that's really important for families to see and understand that there's an education that truly happens there. So if you're, you know, because I think there's so many families that think, wow, if you don't have a strong academic base, you have no future. And, you know.
Well, right. And that's the piece of really flipping the paradigm. So the big goal, and my big goal is for someone who's been around schools, my dad was a public school teacher for 37 years. So I come from that fabric, is to shift schools to be more like a learning center, more for young children, because forced learning, our kids are not having it anymore. They have these tools, like so many tools that we never dreamed possible. And I like to think of it this way, you know, my grandparents were immigrants from Italy. They had probably 7th, 8th grade education. My mother went to nursing school in the early 50s. So she had more tools. You know, I have a master's degree and have a wonderful career because my parents were able to give me the tools. And now my children in their 20s and 30s, my own sons, have more tools than I have and are more savvy at a lot of things than I am. And so we have to recognize that with our youth, is that they already know so much, but they need the mentors. They don't need this core curriculum, you know, that everybody needs to know and be able to do. They need the mentors because there's too much to know and be able to do. So that's a big piece of it. And then the other piece philosophically is the greater good, you know, and we all need to kind of, well, when you're on an airplane, you know, you put on your mask first, right? So that self-care piece is a huge component of what we do. And I always talk about the infinity symbol, the sacred figure eight. I don't know who I stole this from, but the idea that it's self and together, you know, self and community. We all have a different formula for that. Some of us really need and want to be a part of our community a lot of the time. Some of us need more time alone. And so how do we help our young people and even our older people? Because I mean, the people who come to volunteer and teach at BigFish also, they start to discover these things for themselves. Everybody has and this is why the name of our TED Talk, it was supposed to be Who Decides, but they changed it to Is Individualized Education Possible? And that's fine with me. That's the point, is that we're all on an individual journey. So I think the idea of management and, the herd mentality of managing the masses at the expense of the individual. And it's not about, just individualism, because that's really messed us up over the last century. It's really that individual in community, the balance piece that every woman I know is searching for. How do we find balance?
Oh, it's so hard, right? So Diane, I think we've teased people a bit about BigFish. So if they want more information, where are they going to get it?
Well, I'm pretty proud of our website. So it's bigfishnh.org, and you can contact us through our website, read our stories. I have a blog. I'm really due to post another one. Excuse me, I just started having a little more bandwidth for that. And come, with COVID, it's a little tricky, but we can do a virtual visit to start. We encourage a slow enrollment process, because what we're doing is sort of when you say to people you don't need a high school diploma to go on in the world, people go, what do you mean? That's crazy. Crazy talk. But you can, there's so many ways to look at the kids right now during COVID. People are worried that they're getting behind. Well, they're getting behind because maybe they don't have the resources they need in their home, but a lot of our kids who do have what they need, they're learning a whole lot right now. Let's face it, this is a learning year. So it's basically what you do and what you do, what the two of you are doing with your work is showing up for people. And that's what we're doing. So bigfishnh.org. We'll do a virtual tour with you. You'll meet all our wonderful.
You just covered your mic, Diane. Your hand.
Oh,
there you go.
I did. Sorry.
So that's a great segue. We are so grateful that you spent the time with us today. Thank you so much. Thank you for all you do for youth in our communities. I know you make a huge difference for a lot of families and a lot of students. So keep up the great work, and we look forward to following you on your journey. And we're so grateful you're part of the Cheers for Charity family. Thank you for being here.
Oh, awesome. We're so grateful that you're doing this work, and excellent. I'm like starting to get a little cold out. But,
all right, I'll take care.
Bye, Diane. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Take care. Bye now.